All right, welcome back to the Push Limit Show. I'm Shania.
I'm Ivy.
And today we are talking about our most recent jiu-jitsu competitions. We signed up for our first and Ivy's second, technically.
That's right. Actually, your first and second, and my second and third.
Yeah, so we signed up for BJJF, and I did not have anyone in my weight bracket. And you did. You had one girl. So her first competition, you had one match. Which honestly, like going back, like I would have been so pissed off if I only had one match. Because before we even get into it, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Going in there for my first match, I got submitted in less than a minute via triangle. And it was so funny.
It's what you gotta do sometimes. No, I was actually thinking about that before we started recording. I'm glad that I only had one match, but in hindsight, I wish I would have had another, but I guess for my very first one, it was good.
Yeah.
And I had a pretty good experience. I was very equally matched. I went the whole round with this girl, and she won by points. And neither of us scored even in the double digits. So, I mean, you know, of course, white belt, whatever, but
yeah.
I mean, it was a good experience overall.
Yeah, she didn't score very many points on you. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. And she was the only girl in my weight bracket, so she got first, I got second at BJJF in Dallas. I mean, it's a pretty good record.
This was my I signed up and made weight shirt from BJJF, so thank you very much.
Oh, and your medal?
Yeah, and my medal. I got a gold medal. I still participated. I went and weighed in. Participation trophy. I'll take it.
Proud of you.
But it was really funny. So for the longest time before we were going to compete, I was telling myself that I'm just not a person that would compete. I'm like, I'm not competitive. I'm not very aggressive. I don't need to do it. It's going to give me anxiety. But I believe I was telling myself those things. And I think it was false. Obviously, I went and did it. But for like months leading up to this, we had talked about it a lot. And I just kept saying like, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to compete at all. It's nothing I want to do. And then in November, that month we trained one day of jiu-jitsu. The whole entire month. We fell off for a little bit. So we were super good. And then we fell off of jiu-jitsu for a while. And then started getting back into it and signed up for a competition. And then we were really forced to dial in.
Yeah, it was kind of needed. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if we hadn't signed up for that competition, I mean, we would have gotten back into the swing of things a little bit, but I think that really helped set us on a better trajectory and getting into the gym and being more serious about our sport.
Yeah, we do that a lot. I feel like we can stay really consistent with like the gym and like going on walks and stuff, like that's no big deal. But when we were training Muay Thai, there was a time in there too where you just like, maybe you have a bad day and you don't go, and then you're like 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month. That happens, and that happened to us early on when we first started training jiu-jitsu. The same thing happened, and then it just happened again at the end of 2024. And so now, like, we were averaging like 7, 8, 9 hours of training like most of the year. So what, like, 2 to 3 sessions a week. And then in January we trained 47 hours. So what we did is 50% of what we trained in 2024, we did in 1 month. And so we intend to, and we want to keep up that consistency. And so if you look at the numbers like that, and this is why tracking is so important, by the way, I track everything. If we keep that consistency up for 2 months, we'll fit a year worth in 2 months.
Which is so crazy to think about.
So in the first 3 months of 2025, it's a year and a half's training with the numbers that we did in 2024.
And you know what lesson I learned, I feel like, with this experience is I look back on November and December, and I feel like we weren't going to class, or I felt like I wasn't going to class because there was just so much going on. You know, we had work events happening at the end of the year, holidays coming up, travel, whatever. And it was just so easy to blame it on that. But then like we were so much busier in the month of January, not even counting jiu-jitsu. And so I'm like, okay, they're like, if you want it, you can make it happen, kind of thing. And so it's just kind of crazy to be able to see that.
Yeah, let's just dip into that for a second, because just honestly, like January has been like one of the hardest months in my life.
Yeah.
And I know that we were kind of dealing with like anxiety and depression too, and just being so busy. But it's just because, we invested in real estate, so we have something going on there. Just being really intentional with jiu-jitsu, which was a stress reliever for the most part, by the way. I was looking forward to going to class at the end of the day. Work can be stressful. We launched Push supplements January 7th. And so just everything, what the heck?
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. Everything that we have been like working on for over years literally came to a point all at once in January. And so it's insane.
January sucked. I think I cried like all but 2 days in the month of January 2025. I'm just saying, like, holy shit, I'm glad it's over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, January was hard. We showed up anyways, and I think that's really important. You know, and I read something in like this women's grappling group too. It's like, you know, tips from someone who'd been training for 13 years is show up even on your bad days, because when you start to not show up, it's just a slippery slope, and it's just really easy to fall off. And then what happens too, like you're almost embarrassed to go back because you've been gone for so long, and you're like, damn, like everyone's gonna whoop my ass, like everyone's gonna. But that never happens, by the way. It never happens. Everyone's just like, oh, thank God you're back. Like we missed you. We're so happy you're here. So
God, we have such a good, like, I love our gym so much.
I know.
Like our culture and like the family with the people we train with.
I know. So, but what was really funny too, so Ivy did compete a weekend before me, and then we had a competition the next weekend. So when we're white belts, you know, been training for about a year and a half, I wasn't really nervous up until like the week of that I was going to compete. So I'd like to hear what you were thinking too. But for me, I just kept thinking of scenarios, like different things that could happen, different things that I could do. You know, I usually like to pull guard in the gi. I try to go for takedowns in no gi. So I was like, oh man, you know, I'm gonna get into a lasso, I could sweep, you know, I can get into side control, knee on belly, full mount, and like score a bunch of points, because that's what I wanna do. None of that happened at all. Nothing. Everyone pulled guard before I did. And then I'm like stuck trying to pass, and I'm just not very good at it, but I still did all right anyways. But what actually happened, I had all these technical things that I thought I could do. What actually happened was I got stiff, I freaked out, I actually blacked out. Thinking back, I don't remember some things that happened, and I smashed past.
And just for like clarity, like Shania did not become unconscious. Like it was just a mental, like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, because like I like to play spider guard, and then I got stuck in a spider guard, but I didn't even really notice, I guess, until we were in class the next day or the day after that. And coach was like, yeah, Shania, you got stuck in this. And I was like, what?
What?
No, I didn't. I go back and watch the videos, and I was like, holy shit, I was stuck in a spider guard. But I don't know, it's kind of cool that I got to smash pass, because I've never been able to smash pass anyone, because everyone's usually bigger than me.
Yeah, especially in our gym.
Yeah. But what was it like for you? So like for me, like I just, you know, was imagining all this stuff, and it's just not what happened at all.
Yeah, I would say, so leading up to the first competition, I had a similar experience where like, I wasn't super like anxious or nervous about it until the day of, really, or the day before, when we were like, because we saw day one of IBJJF and I competed on day two. But definitely 2 weeks leading up to it, every night that I was laying in bed trying to fall asleep, I was just visualizing, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and I've got like 3 moves that I know like really, really well, and I just was gonna execute everything exactly how we have been training. Like I had every step in my head.
Yeah.
And none of it happened. And then during the competition, or like I guess when I was getting ready to do weigh-in and stuff, like that was a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I had to weigh in that day too, and it was extremely nerve-wracking because in our little hiatus, we gained some weight, and I wanted to fight at a smaller weight, and so we were trying to get that together. And the week before IBJJF, I feel like wasn't super great how we were doing it, but then like going into Jiu-Jitsu World League, like our weight was fine. I had no problems, and so we were a lot more fed and felt better for that one.
Yeah, the competitions that we did have different rules with it, and so like for IBJJF, you have to weigh in like literally an hour before you compete. So you know, keep that in mind if you're ever looking at competing for the first time and you don't know, now you know. And then for Jiu-Jitsu World League, you can actually go in the morning of and like get it out of the way, which is really nice.
Yeah, we weighed in at like 9 a.m. and then we came back home and ate, and then went back at like 3.
Yeah.
Well, we went back at 1:30 because we were rolling at 3.
It was like it was a long day. But yeah, so for IBJJF, I was nervous about the weigh-in because at home I was good, but then on their practice scale, I was literally like right on the dot. And I'm like, Okay, first time competing, and if I get disqualified because I can't make weight, like...
I was worried.
Yeah.
For BJJF,
like,
I didn't think you were going to make weight. I was low-key worried.
Yeah, but we made it. And then I was a little bit nervous. Oh, should I tell them the story about what happened to the girl that I was going against?
Yeah.
Okay, so this girl I was going against, she had competed before. And we were in the bullpen, and I see this girl, and I'm like, okay, I think that's who I'm competing with. And I see her at the beginning of the bullpen where they check all of your stuff and check your nails and whatever. And they had sent her away because of her pants. They were too short. Like, they literally had the ruler down there, and they were like, no, too short. So she left, comes back on. She's got new pants on. Comes back, and they let her through. And then her and I are getting ready to walk up to our mat. And the ref is right there, and then the ref looks at her pants and goes, you cannot wear those. They had little, like, pink seams on them, and they are very strict with the dress code there. And so she had to end up, like, someone from her team bought her a brand new set. She had to go, like, leave and change, came back, and I was like, damn, if I'm nervous, like, I can't imagine how she's feeling, because that would have completely derailed me. And she still ended up winning. But she ends up changing, everything's good. She comes back in, and the ref, like, we're getting ready to go on, ref's cool and everything. A different ref walks up and literally looks at her and goes to look at her ankles again, trying to say that her stuff wasn't the right size. And she goes, oh my gosh, like, I just bought this new set, and kind of explain what happened. So thankfully she was able to compete too.
Yeah, I think we brought 2 gis. I brought one just in case. Like, so I wasn't competing, but I brought one. I want to talk more about, like, the actual feeling and the way I felt. I thought it was an awful feeling. After we competed, I did not fall in love with it. And honestly, like, I ended up, so I lost my first match, and then I won my next 3. So I had 2 in the gi, and then 2 in no gi. What are you doing? Taking a picture of him during our podcast? It's so funny.
So cute.
So I lost my first match, and then I won the next 3. So I got the bronze in the gi, and I took gold in no gi. But during it, I had never really had this feeling before. So we've done Muay Thai Development League, and I think it was a kind of similar feeling. But, like, my ears felt really weird, and my head felt really weird, and I felt like, I don't know if it was like daydreaming, but nothing felt real. So during the competition, like, my head just felt weird. I didn't feel real. I was freaking out, like, low-key. And but our coaches were just so good, and they're so supportive. And just stepped onto the match, and the guy tells us to go. And the girl was fast. She grabbed me up, she grabbed my collar, she pulled guard, pulled me into her guard, just immediately went into a triangle. And yeah, it was deep, like immediately deep. And so I was trying to get my knee up and just trying to posture up, and they're telling you, I couldn't hear anything because I'm in a triangle and she's smashing my ears, but I was just trying to, like, get my head up, and I was trying to stack her up because it was so deep. And I was like breathing like that. But I thought, like, I could wait it out. But then at the same time, everything felt so weird. So I'm like, I think I'm going to pass out. I need a tap.
That was your moment, you knew.
And I sat on the ground, and I just went, I laughed. I'm just a chill guy, you know?
Yeah.
It's really hard to, like, upset me, I guess. I don't know why that would upset me anyways.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn. And then I didn't want to do it again. I was like, I can't believe it. I'm absolutely done. I'm exhausted. So I was thinking during that, like, how am I gonna, if I get out of this and the match is still going, I felt like I was out because I was just so tired from fighting that triangle.
From your first match?
From the first match, yeah.
During the first match?
During it, yeah.
Dang.
Like, I was thinking, like, even if I get out of this, there's just, like, no way, because this is gassing me trying to get out, and the adrenaline is so high. But then you have to go. You have to do it again. You have to. Mm-hmm. And so the next one came, and I was a little bit more prepared. She pulled guard again and did the spider thing, and ended up being able to pass and score quite a few points for that, and won. And then it's time for no-gi. It's no-gi time. This is the worst podcast ever with these damn dogs. So for no-gi, we had to leave and go check in. And I was like, why the fuck did we sign up for gi and no gi? Because I am so tired. I was so gassed. But I did it. I think my first match in no gi, I didn't perform as well because I was really tired, and I ended up just, like, I got a stalling charge because I held her inside of control for so long because that girl also almost triangled me.
You're like, never again.
Yeah, and what do you think we were going over in class now is it's triangle escapes. But she did not. I held her inside of control, and then the next match I ended up doing a lot better and was able to score some points. The biggest lessons that I really got from it is that I don't think I've ever fully gassed out. I don't think I actually fully gassed out the competition either. But also, I don't try to go for submissions very often. Like, I'm usually just going for points. And then even today in class we had comp training, and I was thinking that I would try to go for more submissions. But the truth is just like I am not as competent in no-gi as I am in the gi. So I don't know as many things that I can do in no-gi that I can do in the gi when you can grab things. So it's just like I've walked away with a lot to work on. But also just how intense we got with our training leading up to that was really cool. And so we signed up for another one.
Of course we did. Why wouldn't we?
I did not want to. Like, I'm serious. Like, I was just like, man, I could just never do that again and be all right. But like, how is that being a role model?
Right.
You know, how is that pushing limits? It's not.
That's so true.
You want to talk more about like how you felt?
Yeah.
But it was probably the same, huh?
Not really, actually.
Oh.
No. In my IBJJF one, so the one where I only had one match, first competition, I did feel the being super gassed, and like I've never had that experience before. And there was at one point during the match, I had a voice in my head that was like, just tap. Like, literally, there's still 2 minutes left. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm exhausted. What the hell's going on? Coaches are yelling at me to stand up. I can't stand up. I'm like, and then thank God, like, luckily it went away. And I was like, no, like, I'm just going to finish this because that's what I'm here for. And I only have one freaking match. Like, I can do it. I actually think I thought I had 2 at that point.
Yeah, we weren't sure if you guys had to go back to back or not.
Yeah.
That's 2 out of 3.
So I was just like, okay, I'm doing it. I finished it. And then doing that first competition made going into Jiu Jitsu World League a lot easier, like mentally. I just wasn't as stressed out about it because I'm like, okay, I've already done it. And I felt that feeling that you hadn't yet experienced. And then in my matches, I don't remember the order, but I lost 2, 1-1 for each, gi and no gi, because I had 6 matches. There were a lot of girls in my weight bracket. After doing all of the gi, my whole body felt like I couldn't move anything. Like, that was crazy. And I didn't know how I was going to recover. I was like, there's no way I can do no gi like this.
Yeah, you had 3 matches in the gi. I only had 2, but my first one only lasted for a minute. Well, my second one didn't last the whole 5 minutes either because she tapped, I think. Yeah, she tapped. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
how
then you
long
had
it
3
was.
and you were...
Yeah, but after the gi, our coaches told us go get some like Gatorade and some sugar or something.
Yeah.
That saved my life.
Yeah,
like,
saying that
Gatorade
helps.
and Sour Patch Kids, except my problem is it was blue Gatorade and some of the photos. My God, I know you guys know what the hell I'm talking about. So I'll do like clear Gatorade next time, I guess, or like carb water. I don't know, like.
Yeah, we've got some carb water.
Yeah.
From BPN.
Yeah, but the no gi matches, I felt like really good going into that one too. After we had the sugar, which really helped a lot.
Yeah, and so like anyone who's looking to compete for the first time, you can plan all you want. Who knows? Maybe what you plan you'll actually execute. I wish that I would have had more of a plan, because Weston and Dylan were asking like, hey, are you gonna pull guard or are you gonna go for a takedown? And I was like, I don't know, because I'd never done it before. And I just didn't know what to expect. And like, so I wanted to go in and kind of feel it out. But especially at the white belt level, someone is pulling guard fast, usually. You're not really like fighting for grips and hand fighting very much. But I wish that I would have had decided to do one or the other. And that's what I'm gonna do for the next one, is like, I'm gonna decide and have a plan, like this is what I'm gonna do. And so why I'm so excited to compete again, even though like, I'll have moments where I'm like, fuck, I need to pull out. I don't want to do that all the time. It lasts for a second, but I want to show up with more endurance, more technique, and just being more calm.
Yeah. Yeah, settle down a little bit.
And I don't want to smash pass.
It's funny because I had a plan for exactly what I was going to do and how I would execute at IBJJF, and I couldn't do anything. And so then I went into Jiu-Jitsu World League with less of a plan. And I mean, obviously it was to my detriment. I did not medal. But I don't know. I'm excited to, like, moving forward to, like, figure something out. Oh, I was so, like, excited, I guess, to, like, compete for Jiu-Jitsu World League. I jumped the guard and then I got in trouble. So that was crazy.
That was so funny. Like, you've done it to me in class before, and every time you've done it, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I know. Just so, I don't know. I was excited, I guess. But I won't be doing that again.
But I highly recommend it, you know, and it's a conversation between you and your coach. Even if you think that you're not a person who competes, just, like, do it anyways. It makes your training in class a lot better and a lot more intentional. You walk away with just a better plan. And so what I want to change, and this is actually, let's go into this question. We asked in our Push Limits community for people to submit questions, and Lexi did submit a question. So what was your feeling like before and during? How did your training change getting ready for the comp? So I want to go into the latter first, how our training changed. So before we signed up for the competitions, we were lifting weights 6 days a week in the mornings.
Five to six, yeah.
Yeah, so what we did, we were training less jiu-jitsu at night, like we probably would 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
But we would lift in the mornings, and then 3 mornings during the week we would go to jiu-jitsu, and it's more chill, instructional. We roll a little bit now, and then walking, a lot of walking. But what changed was that we did nothing but jiu-jitsu. And I'm not saying that's right, and I want to do it different next time. But since we had been so lackluster for the past couple months, we just wanted to be in the gym and getting mat time, and that's what we did.
Yeah, and I think what happened too is we normally would go lift and then go do morning jiu-jitsu. And then what kind of happened was, with how much more we were training at night, it was really hard to get out of bed. And then it was like, hey, this is not a bad idea. Let's prioritize our sleep. Like, let's get a little bit better recovery. But then by the time I was, like, feeling better in the mornings, I was like, okay, I could go lift, but now we're like 2.5 weeks out, and I know if I start lifting right now, I'm gonna be sore. I won't be able to train as well. So that was a big deciding factor.
Yeah.
We're getting back into our lifting this week, though.
We're trying to. For me, anyways. I gotta travel to Iowa.
Nutrition. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I was gonna say something else about the training. Oh, how we want to train. How we would prefer to train is I want to train as much jiu-jitsu as we are, but then just full body weightlifting 3 times a week, and then 2 long distance runs a week, and then 1 day where it's more sprint. That would be like peak. That's what I want to stay consistent with. And, you know, maybe we'll take a day or 2 off from jiu-jitsu a week, but not right now because we still have a competition coming up in a couple months. So
yeah,
it's just trying to find that balance. And the other thing too is leading up to the competition. I think we stayed rolling hard. We had 1 day off on Friday, so we trained really hard up until Thursday. We did not train on Friday.
That's right.
But, you know, some people take it a little bit lighter with the rolls and stuff. I think we just stayed going hard. I was thinking about rolling a little bit softer, but I was like, eh.
I kind of like what I did too. The reason we didn't train on Friday night before Jiu-Jitsu World League was because the gym was closed. We were supporting other team members who were competing in a different thing.
That fight to win.
Yeah. But before IBJJF, we did train Friday night. I didn't know I wasn't competing on Saturday. I thought it would be Saturday, but it was Sunday. But we did not roll on Friday, and I like that a lot too because it just helped me like really think about.
We light rolled a little bit, yeah, but we just kind of did some drilling for you, and what your plan was that didn't happen.
Yep, got the whole plan down, and for what?
You know, that's probably just like at the level we're at too. I'm sure when people get higher belts and they have a plan, they can probably execute it, but who knows? But nutrition-wise, we did have to cut weight. You know, I think what's funny too about the scale thing for Jiu-Jitsu World League, I weighed myself here, and I was like 124, 125. You have to weigh in with your gi on, and I think it adds like 3 pounds. Mine does. So I was like 128.8 with the gi on. I go there, I'm like 129.6. So keep that in mind. The scales can be kind of weird. The day of for Jiu-Jitsu World Week was really nice because our weight was pretty good. We didn't have to really stay cutting. It was kind of more of a maintenance that week. And we had talked about eating a bigger meal earlier in the day on Friday, but I don't think we did. I think we ate late. I think we had ramen Friday night when we got back from Fight to Win.
Oh yeah, it was so late.
Yeah. So we wanted to eat more that day and we didn't. Ramen. We love ramen. Mm-hmm. That morning we go in, we fasted in the morning, just coffee and water. Went to weigh in at 9 a.m. Came back home and hung out. We had rice, beef, tater tots, egg.
It was so good.
That was our meal.
I love that meal.
And it was honestly a little bit too much. We kind of overfed. We didn't look really at the macros or anything. We were just like, whatever. We just want to get some food in us to fuel us for the competition. Probably maybe 50 ounces of water is what I consumed. And then that meal, we got there, warmed up for about an hour, and we rolled.
Yeah.
And then in between, we
had our push before.
We did have our push before. Mm-hmm. We should have brought it for in between because there's the raw honey powder in there is just a nice little.
Yeah.
That would have been better than the.
Do this instead of the Gatorade, right?
Yeah, that'd be better than the Gatorade because there's electrolytes in here, Himalayan salt and stuff, magnesium.
Screw the carb water. I'll drink that.
Well, the carb water would be good. That'd be good. How about both?
Yeah. There we go.
And then in between. It was, Gatorade and some Sour Patch Kids.
Mm-hmm. And then like leading up to it, I do want to add that we kind of switched our diet back in November, December, and we were very plant-based. Because like we'll just do that every so often. We kind of notice like we're not getting as many nutrients as we should, so we'll try and switch up our diet sometimes. But that also leads to weight gain for me. I'm assuming for you too. It's just like a lot of carbs and
I don't
stuff.
like to eat veggies.
Yeah, and so like we had a lot of carbs too in November, December, which really helped push up the weight. But then when we made our switch, because we decided we were going to compete, we kept our meals the same thing, simple. Like it was literally every day we're having a 4th cup of rice and then we cook it, and then like either ground beef or turkey or chicken.
Yeah.
And like
it was rice and meat.
And broccoli sprouts. We did some of that too.
Yeah.
We had a fruit smoothie in the morning with our protein.
Yeah, we've been doing fruit smoothies in the morning.
Yeah, we kind of just keep it easy. We don't want to think about it.
Yeah, like we want to get, it's important to have the fruits and the vegetables. The vegetables are the hardest thing for us. And the reason why the fruit's not hard for us right now is because we're doing those smoothies in the morning. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if we're not eating smoothies, we will literally just eat meat and rice all the time,
it's
forever.
So good.
I love it. And it's white rice. Yeah. It's just white rice and meat.
I'm like, why would I eat broccolis when I can eat ground beef?
Yeah, I mean, broccoli makes you fart anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, people in general, but especially.
No. I handle most of the cooking, and I also do a lot of our meal tracking too. Like Shania will too, but then I'll pick it up.
But if she's doing it, I don't do it because we eat the same exact shit.
Yeah. But one thing I am looking forward to being different for the next time we compete is actually being able to feed ourselves appropriately. I feel like that's one thing that we did in the month of January is we had to cut our calories. Not terribly aggressive, but I mean like when you're training as much as we were and consuming like 1,600 calories a day, that's not good. Like, you can't sustain off of that very well.
I think we were losing like 3-4 pounds a week.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So that's
which is not sustainable. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal for a month. Whatever, it's okay.
Right, it's not
but
like
now it's just we can maintain, which is really cool. So leading up to these next competitions, we should just be in a maintenance. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, and we're gonna lift. We're gonna be jacked.
We're gonna look so good. Like you guys don't even know.
So yeah, anyone looking to compete, do it. Even if you don't want to do it, just do it. It's fine. You never have to do it again after that if you don't want.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, but I'm just gonna keep doing it.
It's good. And the pictures are cool.
Yeah, the pictures are cool. Okay, actually, no. Some of them I'm just like...
I feel like we need to edit, like just throw up one of the photos on this because like we both have some pretty crazy photos.
Yeah, there's one where I'm just like...
Yeah, but your hand raised photo was pretty sick.
Yeah, that one is cool. Yeah. It'll be on the website, which is almost done. All right, that's all we got.